Now then guys, how you doing? Thank you for joining me on Rebuilding Newcastle. Now obviously there's been a massive takeover. If you haven't heard about it, where have you been? Got around about £200 million to spend, and whilst people may not politically agree with the takeover, Mike Ashley has left the club, and it can only be good for the club itself and the fans. And yes, like I say, you may not agree with the Saudi takeover, you may not agree with the way it's gone about, but again, you know, the club is only going to get better for it. So what we're going to do is we're going to rebuild Newcastle United over 5 seasons. What I do is I simulate every season. The only part that I'm involved in is the ins and outs, the transfers of the club, the staff, the players. That is all. I pick a tactic and I just pray that my assistant manager uses it and it works well. So what we're going to do before we move on, if you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe as we continue to grow the channel. And if you're a regular viewer, thank you very much for your support. But now let's get into it. Right, so here we go then guys, day one at Newcastle United. Now I'm a Newcastle fan, obviously you can see the shirt behind us, absolutely loving that. And I've got the old Newcastle goalkeeper shirt on from the late 90s. I'm all about it. Like I say, while politically it might not be right, and obviously the reasoning behind this Newcastle takeover, and like I say, everybody's going to have a different opinion on this. At the end of the day, Newcastle United have now been taken over. We've got loads of money in the bank. Let's have a look at that first of all, because financially we are sorted. Now, if you didn't know that the budget is £200 million, where have you been? It's been plastered all over social media as far as the FM22 cycle goes. Everybody's given this a go. And for me, I wanted to put my own spin on it. I wanted to have my own go on it. So overall balance is £258 million. Transfer budget is £200 million. And the wage budget is just over £2 million. Now we're spending £1.4 million on wages. And the big thing is we get 100% of transfer revenue as well. So we can spend, and whatever we sell is going to come right back to us. We don't necessarily need to worry about income and expenditure at the minute. Obviously, we do not want to try and, I was going to say bankrupt the club. Obviously, we're not going to bankrupt the club. It's not going to happen. However, we still have got to be realistic with finances. I think the big thing is, though, is the club vision. What is their expectation of me? So the club culture is to sign high-profile players. Let's get Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland in here straight away. Grow the club's reputation, increase commercial revenue, and work within the wage budget. At the end of this season, they only expect a top half finish, and then they expect us to start qualifying for the Champions League. We can do that. Win a domestic cup by the end of the 25-26 season. That will literally be the end of this 5-year rebuild. So realistically for us, we want to have won the league and really have won the Champions League. You know, with the amount of money we've got to have the best transfer budget on the game. If I don't win the Champions League in these 5 years, I would call that a failure. I'm sure many of you would as well. Am I going to rebuild the squad in one season? Probably not. I'm going to bring in some talent, but I'm not going to be able to remove everybody out of the squad and bring everybody in. Naturally, building up that reputation, like it says there, is what's going to bring me these players in. So looking at the squad dynamics then, obviously as I've just been named manager of the squad, team cohesion's average, club atmosphere is good, and my geo support is average as well. But what about top influencers then? So my team leaders are Lascelles, Shelby and Richie. My days. Like I say, as a Newcastle fan, this club is championship quality. It really is. Obviously the front three of Almiron, Alan Saint-Maximin, obviously he's an absolute boy and he's a baller, is Saint-Maximin, and Callum Wilson up front. That is really it. You know, we've got the likes of Ryan Fraser, who's decent, but we've completely ruined the Longstaff brothers, Sean Longstaff especially. When he come onto the scene, he was going to be the next big thing, and we've ruined him. Obviously, he's a back four, he's shocking. Dubravka's a decent goalkeeper. You know, I do rate him. Been injury prone since he joined us, so you know, I've got lots of changes to make, but luckily I've got 2 players as supporters, Hayden and Willock, both happy that I'm there. Nobody opposes though, and that's the big thing. You know, there's nobody that's got on their AORUS and wants to do one because I've joined the club. So I'm happy with that. But yeah, just 2 players that I've got on side, 23 players I still need to get on side. So looking at the squad depth, then obviously I'm set as a 4-4-2 at the minute. I will change that. I don't know what way I'm going to play necessarily. I like 2 up top me. That's the way I play. I like an either deep line playmaker or a target man with somebody playing off them and advance forward. So I'm not quite sure yet the way we're going to play, but we're going for a 4-4-2 as it starts. And I've got Wilson up front with Saint-Maximin. Jolinton, what is he doing there? He's the first player out of the door. Why did we spend £35 million on this guy? I said this last season in the FM21 cycle and in the FM20 cycle. You know, this guy is a clown. 6 goals he scored for us. That is a poor show. but we've got him up there. Dwight Gale as well. He's not Premier League quality. So we definitely need to bring somebody up with Callum Wilson. I'm probably going to bring in another 2 strikers. That's an absolute guarantee. Then we're looking at the midfield. Obviously, in that left position, we've got St. Maximin. We'll probably want to play a bit higher. Almiron, Ryan Fraser as well. In the centre of midfield, we've got Willock, Shelvey, Hayden, Longstaff, Hendricks. There's another one. Unbelievable sign. And what, like I say, the recruitment has not been great. And out on that right hand side, we've got St. Maximin, Fraser, Almiron, Ritchie, Hendricks again. The same players on both sides. But ratings wise, looking quite decent. Willock in the middle looks like a talent, you know, joined us from Arsenal. We paid fairly big money for him, £25 million. But last season, 8 goals in 14 starts. Definitely worth the money, I think. Then at the left back, we've got Paul Dummer, Jamal Lewis. That'll probably be it. With Manquillo playing out on the other side. Emil Kraft. Another one, what is he doing there? But then it's a centre-backs, you know, we've got Fernandez, Lascelles, Clark, Shaw, none of them. Fabian Shaw I thought was fairly decent, you know, he was at Basel, weren't he? A fair time ago, that's where I'd first seen the guy. And he was decent, obviously went off to Hoffenheim, we paid £3 million for him and he's been a regular starter, but he's certainly not, if you want him to push into the top 4, he's not a top 4 centre-back. And then in goals, we've got plenty of options. We've got Dubravka, Darlow, Gillespie, Woodman. Woodman is a talent. Again, if you want him to be a top 4 team, is he going to be a number 1? No. Dubravka, decent, but he's 32-year-old now. And for a goalkeeper, that's probably in his prime. But always injured. And he's currently out at the minute, isn't he? He's out for 6 to 9 weeks with a damaged foot. So, yeah, we're going to start without Dubravka anyway, which means I'm going to have to bring another goalkeeper in. And then finally, just looking at our best 11. Up front, if we were to start a game today, we'd have Joelinton and Wilson up front. Matt Ritchie, Hayden, Willock and Ryan Fraser across the middle. With Dummer, Shah, Lascelles and Manquillo at the back. With Dubravka in goal. What a team. Champions League team, if there ever was one. So yes, the rebuild's going to start now. I will see you for the start of Season 1. And hopefully I've spent the majority of this £200 million.
That was my next question.
Dilly dong, come on.
So here we go then, and I'm going to confess it's been a lot harder than I expected. The reputation of the club has really made me struggle to bring in some high calibre players. Now, don't get me wrong, like I said, I wasn't getting Mbappe and Haaland in first time round. We're going to have to build that up over the next couple of seasons to get that higher quality player, and obviously we need to be in the Champions League, or some kind of European first of all, to attract an elite style of player at least. So, let's have a look at the finances first. As we've got £51 million in the transfer budget, which means we spent about £150 million already. We have let quite a few players go. Overall, balance-wise, is obviously on the decline. We've made a loss of £97 million this season so far. So you can see where we're at. We're currently spending 200k under the wage budget. I'm not really worried about that. We have got another player to come in who I'm just waiting on before the season starts. But let's have a look at who's left the club first of all. So first to leave the club then was Matt Ritchie. He has gone off to Burnley. We let him go for 4.3 million. We spent £12 million for him from Bournemouth. Now, he was a fairly decent player to start with, but he has tailed off. Only played 18 games last season. But yeah, 4.3 million to Burnley. Dwight Gale was never a Premiership footballer, and he has gone off to the Championship to be with Notts Forest. Now, he went for 2.2 million. Again, we spent crazy money, £10 million. Yes, he scored 23 goals for us in the Championship, and he scored 23 goals for West Brom in the Championship, but that tells you the level that he is at. So, Dwight Gale, 2.2 million, I'll take it, off to Nottingham Forest. Kieran Clark, another one off to Burnley, 31-year-old Irishman. You know, he's not that good. £5 million we paid for him, 22 games last season, 3.9 million. Needed to strengthen up at the back, and I haven't quite done that yet, I'll be honest. You know, that's probably the one area that I still need to get some players in for. Like I said, I've got a player still waiting to join us, just going through the process now. But yeah, Kieran Clark off to Burnley. Isaac Hayden has gone off to Leeds. Now, again, 26-year-old midfielder, 4.1 million after we paid 2.5. 24 games last season. If I'm wanting to grow this club, Isaac Hayden would not be playing in my midfield, so we've let him go. Emil Kraft. Absolutely terrible player. Should never have been at Newcastle United to start. We spent £4.9 million on him. He's played 2 seasons for us, £4 million. He's gone. That's decent money, I'd say, to get £4 million for him. It's a job well done. Jeff Hendricks gone off to West Brom, so he's dropped back down into the Championship. We got him on a free transfer. He played 1 season for us, and he's gone off to West Brom for £1 million. Federico Fernandez has gone on loan to Rennes, so yeah, he was never going to feature. Like I say, we needed to strengthen at the back. £6 million we paid for him. Some absolutely crazy money. He's not that good, so off he goes. And then lastly then, Lord Voldemort, John Joe Shelby has gone to Burnley. Burnley seeming to have capitalised on our clear out, our fire sale, and they've taken him on for £3 million. £12 million we played for him. In fairness, John Joe Shelby isn't that bad of a player. Does bits. He can be a bit reckless, don't get me wrong. But like I say, when we're trying to take that next step up, he's 29-year-old now. Let's cash in on him. So coming in then, the first player in is the wonder kid Sergino Dest. 20-year-old American. Now, we got him. He was from Barcelona. 19 million Barcelona spent, and he played 30 against them last season, and we spent 27.5 million on him. And I'm happy with that, in fairness. Can play out on both the left and right-hand side as a fullback or as a wing-back. He's only going to get better, let's be honest. Time is on his side. Determination, 16. Cross and dribbling, 14 and 13. When we look at the tactic, we're really going to emphasise on those wide areas. So we've brought in a real talented player there. Carrying on with that wide theme then, we've brought in Rafinha from Leeds. Now, we spent big money on this guy, 33.5 million. I think a lot of people who watch the Premier League now know what Rafinha's about, and obviously what Leeds are about in general and the style of play that they've got. 30 appearances, 6 goals for them last season. Like I say, he can play out on both wide areas. We have got Saint-Maximin, Almiron, and other players that can play out there, but he's definitely one of the better players at the club now. And like I say, 33 million isn't a massive amount of money for the money that we've got to spend, but a couple of seasons under his belt, and he's already valued at 46 to 50 million, so got to be happy with that. Another player in then is Konrad Lehmer. He joins us from Leipzig. 24-year-old Austrian international, 13 caps, 1 goal. Can play in the centre of the midfield. Could also play wide if we needed him to, but we're probably not going to play him there. Mentally he's good, physically he's good. He's got a lot more to do technically, but playing in the centre of the midfield, you know, be able to knock it about. Leipzig had him for 6.25 million. He played 3 games for them last season, but we've taken a risk, I would say, £10 million. I'm happy with it, you know, adds a bit more depth to the squad, and like I say, can also play out wide should we need him. Now, this is one that I've messed up with. Andre Onana, goalkeeper. Really good goalkeeper. Now, I knew he had been banned. I think he'd been banned for, was it like drug abuse or something silly like that? So I brought him in. Obviously, I've got problems at the goalkeeper department. I thought it's a decent deal. He's 25-year-old, fully capped Cameroonian, and he's banned until the 4th of October. What a clown. What a clown. I've spent almost £20 million on him, and he's banned. So now I've got Dubravka out injured and Onana. I'm not bringing anybody else in. We're going to have to start with either Woodman or Darlow, but it is what it is. So yes, Onana, I've made a right mess of that one. What a clown. But then we've brought in Renan Lodi. So he joins us from Atletico Madrid, 24.5 million, played 23 against them last season. And I wanted someone who could play out on that left-hand side. Like I say, can play as a wing-back and a full-back. He's a very all-rounded player, let's be honest. Dribbling, crossing, 15 and 16. Acceleration, decent as well. Natural fitness, 15 is just what we want, as we're going to be a very physical side. We're going to be running around. We're going to be pressuring the ball. But yeah, Renan Lodi already valued at 40 to 45 million. And the thing that I need to think about throughout all of this is, if this doesn't work out, and naturally, I'm going to keep improving the players as the seasons go on. I'm going to keep upgrading. So the players that we're bringing in, I need to be making a profit on as well. And like I say, we've brought him in. 24.5 million, now valued at 40 to 45. You know, I could double the money that I've spent on him, so I just need to nurture him. A 23-year-old, he's already been capped 15 times by Brazil, so he's a full international as well. But it's all about making that profit. Next player in then is Valdemar Anton. Now he's an Uzbeki, 25-year-old, not capped yet. I'm sure he was a German when he started, I'm going to be completely honest. Probably changed nationality in the transfer, but we bought him for 9.5 million. He's played plenty of games in the Bundesliga, 31 games for Stuttgart last season after they got him on a free. Now, is he going to be a natural starter? No. You know, heading, mark and tackling is not the best. I would be wanting 15 pluses on all those attributes. But he's 25-year-old. He's going to add a bit of depth anyway. And we didn't spend a massive amount of money on him. Valued at 24 million as he stands. Next in then, Matias Vecino. 29-year-old Uruguayan. Plenty of international caps. 48 caps, 3 goals. Paid £4 million for him from Inter. Now, he only played 8 games last season. Well, £4 million is an absolute steal for somebody that well-rounded. Yes, did I buy an older player, 100%, but he's 29-year-old. He's now in his prime. He may only have 1 season with us, but he's already valued at 18 to 24 million. Yes, at the end of the season, he might be valued at £12 million, but that's still going to treble what I paid for him. So, Matias Vecino is going to drop into the midfield. Another player in then is the Moroccan Munier. Now, 4 caps, 1 goal. Didn't cost a massive amount of money, 5.25 million. Played 24 times for Sevilla last season, scored 4 goals. Can play out on the wide areas and up front, but he's probably going to play as a wide man. I wouldn't expect to see him up front. Pace and acceleration is decent, cross and dribbling good. Long shots, he can have a crack as well. But Munier is going to be a squad depth option. One of my centre-backs to come in then was Samuel Gigot, so he joins us from Spartak Moscow for 5.25 million after they spent 7.5 on him. He was playing in the Russian League last season, 26 games, 3 goals, and he's solid. Listed as a powerful centre-back, heading 15, marking 16, tackling 12, a little bit better on that. Strength is 15 as well, 27-year-old, just about to hit his prime, and he's valued at £30 million. So yes, he'll be playing as one of my back three. And then I needed to strengthen in up front, so I've brought in Moussa Dembele, 25-year-old Frenchman. He's a quality player on FM. He was out on loan at Atletico Madrid last season, where he only played 5 times. Didn't have a great season at Lyon, where he only scored 1 in 16 games, but before that, he was scoring for fun, and I'm hoping he's going to do the same for us here. £26 million he's valued at, finishing his 15, composure 14, 25, not at his prime yet. Pace and acceleration is decent as well. Natural fitness also on the high side, so he should fit into the squad very nicely. And then lastly, Nicolas Sula hasn't joined us yet, but he should be joining us from Bayern Munich. Now, we have got an £18.5 million offer in for him, and that's basically what he's worth at the minute. Currently playing at Bayern Munich, 20 games last season, played 1 game this season already. But yeah, he's a quality player, and he's another powerful centre-back. So hopefully, we'll have sorted out our centre-back options. Meaning that we've managed to bring in a total of £24 million from our sales. However, we spent £180 million on transfers. And there's no world beater in those transfers, is there? And that's the big thing. We've added some real depth to the squad we have. And we've definitely improved the talent amongst the squad. It's definitely a Premiership team now. But is it good enough to get us into Europe? Because we need to get into Europe at the end of this season. That is the aim, yes. The board want a top half finish, but we need European football to get top quality players into the club ASAP. Tactically then, we're going to play a 5-2-3-1. We're going to play a wide wing play formation. So I'm focusing the majority of my attacks on the ball out into those wide areas where we've got Dest, Lodi, Saint-Maximin and Rafinha. You can't ask for any more than that. That's 4 top quality players that should be able to do the business for us and cause teams trouble this season. So this is what my starting 11 should look like, with Onana in goal, Gijo, Anton and Lascelles at the back, with Renan, Lodi and Dest, Vecino and Lehmann in the middle with Saint-Maximin and Rafinha, and then Wilson up front. We're going on a balanced mentality. I can't imagine we're going to score a ton of goals, but it's all about getting 3 points on the board. And when we're talking about league positions, we're expected for a 6th place finish this season. So the recruitment has obviously been decent. 33-1, we're there with the likes of Tottenham and Arsenal and Leicester. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that prediction. We've got no players in the Media Dream 11, but I don't expect it to be, not yet anyway. Give it a couple of seasons. So very exciting, but just looking at the schedule and who we start against, we've got games against Manchester United, Everton and Arsenal in the league. So 3 big games coming up. So what we're going to do then is we're going to simulate forward for 12 months, and you'll join me at the end of season 1, where hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm praying that we're in some kind of European football. Right, so season 1 is now down, and we have finished in 6th place. 6th place, so we're going to have Europa League football. I'm sure that's the case. 7th place is that silly cup, innit? Yes. And we've ended up with a 6th place finish, which is quality. Our form towards the back end of the season. 5 wins on the bounce there, and not a goal conceded. 2-0 against Watford, 3-0 against Leicester, 2-0 against Chelsea, 2-0 against Wolves, and 4-0 against Brighton. We still conceded a fair few goals, so 47 goals conceded. 62 scored, which isn't great. Goal difference of plus 15, and when you look at our goal difference in comparison to the teams around us, God, we've done well there. So like I say, 30 play, 20 wins, 8 draws, 10 defeats. 10 defeats there is massive. But yeah, we're in with the likes of Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, Leeds getting up into 5th place, and Chelsea. Leicester also getting the Champions League place. They must have won the Europa League. Let's have a gander. So looking at Leicester then, Leicester actually won the Europa League final, so they're the current holders, a 1-0 victory over Atletico Madrid. So yeah, Europa League for us next season, guys, that is absolutely massive. Let's have a look at the competitions altogether. So like I say, a 6th place finish in the Premier League. We got knocked out in the 3rd round by Southampton in the FA Cup. That is shocking. And we've won the Carabao Cup. We've won the Carabao Cup. Can you believe it? In the first season, we've actually brought silverware back to the club. So the Carabao Cup, who did we play in the final? We played Chelsea. We won them 2-0 at Wembley. There we go. So we've won our first bit of silverware within our first season, as well as getting a 6th place finish. That is fantastic. What about finances though? We've got £103 million in the transfer budget. We've got £160 million in the overall balance. A profit and loss this season of 60 million. That's for this season. Last season we lost 90 million now. Not ideal. So we're now in the new season, I would imagine, with a £60 million profit. But yeah, last season we lost 90 million. Not good at all. So looking at the club vision then, we're on course. You know, the thing for next season was a top half finish, and we've done that. They want us to continue to grow on the club's reputation. We'll keep an eye on that one as well. But manager performance-wise, B. And that's where you want to be, really, isn't it? With that kind of thing. You know, we're not under any pressure as it stands anyway. So looking at our performance on the data hub then, let's just have a look. So our general performance, goals per game, we managed a 1.63 goals per game average. They expected us to score 1.24, so we were above that. Goals conceded, we conceded 1.24 goals a game, and we'd expect to concede 1.23, so we were just under the goals conceded as well. Shots per game, 11. Shots on target was 43% of our shots on target percentage. Pass completion was good, decent with the passes, 90%, and tackles won, 80%. So what's this one down here? Shots per game average for the Premier League club was 13.22, so we were under that average, but everything else we were above apart from the goals per game. Again, they were expecting the 1.35 from most clubs, and we're under that, unfortunately. But when we look at those stats actually in action, Moussa Dembele got 33 goals this season. What a start to the season that is for him. How many did he get in the league? 28 Premier League goals in 33 starts. Money well spent there. With Rafinha getting the highest average rating of 7.37. Most assists was Alan Saint-Maximin and Rafinha with 11 apiece. Best pass completion was Gigabyte with 98%. Most player of the match awards goes to Rafinha and Dembele with 9 apiece. Most yellow cards was Conrad Lema. And most red cards was Lodi with 2. Jeez Louise. Team stats wise then, we scored 62 goals, which was the 7th best. Goals conceded 47, which was the 9th best. Not great for a team that finished 6th. Yellow cards we had 50, which was the 8th best. And we had 4 red cards, which was the 5th worst. We also had the 7th best average attendance at just over 46,000. So there we go then, guys. We've got the Carabao Cup and we've got a 6th place finish, so we've got to rebuild again. So just before we go then, let's have a look at the squad. Let's have a look at where we should improve really. So looking at it, we've obviously got the one up front, which is Dembele. We've got Rafinha, who's the best on both sides. In the centre midfield, I'm quite happy. Could probably do with a higher rated player in there. I don't know whether to stick with the wing backs and go to 4 at the back and play a flat back 4. We've got Lodi, we've got Lema, we've got Sula, we've got Dest. Dest hasn't really developed as well as I would have wanted. 21 games played this season. When we look at it, the back, Sula's obviously the best player there. We've got Gigi, we've got Lascelles, we've got Anton as well in there. And then in goal, we've got Onana. Onana. Is he good enough though? 26-year-old. He's got time on his side, don't get me wrong. He's not in his prime yet, but yeah, one to look at there. So that's what we're going to do then, guys. We're going to move forward to the start of Season 2. I'm going to have a busy transfer window as now hopefully we'll be able to bring in those high reputation players as we've got European football. And I've got a lot of money to spend. So yes, I'll see you at the start of Season 2.
That was my next question.
Dilly dong, come on.
Right then, guys, so the start of Season 2, and we've done some decent stuff in the transfer window. We'll start off with the finances. I've still got £42 million in the transfer budget. I haven't spent it all. I don't want to go too big because I can't get the players that I want. The reputation still isn't there, so I'm trying to save a bit of money. Apparently next season, the minimum guaranteed budget is going to be 38 million, so I'd obviously want to build on that anyway. Transfer budget-wise, we've got 2.1 million in the kitty. We're spending 1.8 million, so we're in a fairly decent place there. I've got a little bit of wiggle room should I need it. And in the overall balance, we've got £106 million. So that is starting to deplete from what we started with, but we're still financially okay. You know, I haven't ruined the club yet. Now, no, obviously, I may have went out and spent another £100 million this season, but I just cannot get the players, like I say, to really strengthen the team. So we'll start with the outs quickly then. Fabian Schär has gone to Copenhagen. He's gone for nothing. He's gone the free transfer. He played 3 games for his last season. He was never going to feature, obviously, as we look to strengthen his squad, so he's gone away. Jacob Murphy went off to Burnley for 2.1 million, was on loan last season at Burnley anyway, 64k to pay us to take him on loan. He played 15 games for them. They're obviously relegated down to the Championship, and he's joined them there. Ryan Fraser has gone to Southampton for 5.5 million. We got him on a free transfer, obviously, from Bournemouth, but yes, 5.5 million. Only played 4 games for us last season, and he was unhappy at the club, so 5.5 million, very handy. Joe Linton, we finally got him off the books and we give him away 1.8 million. What a loss that is. 35 million we paid for him and sold him for 1.8. Didn't play a game for us last season, not one. Shows how good he was and how needed he was within the squad. So yes, off he goes to Turkey. Martin Dubravka has gone off to West Ham. Now, there was a bit of a bidding war for this guy, 33-year-old, but 13.75 million was the end total we got for him. Played 10 games last season, conceded 12 goals. But yeah, just under 14 million, I would say, for a guy that wasn't going to be our first choice. Now we've got Onana. I'm happy with that deal. And the last player to go then was Munir, who went off to Norwich. Now, we bought him for 5.25 million last season, and we doubled what we paid for him. We got 10.5 million. He's now gone to the Championship. Bit of a fall from grace there, playing for Sevilla in Spain. Then joined us, played 13 games, scored 1 goal, and he's now playing in the Championship. But like I say, we doubled the money, and I've got to be happy with that. So coming in then, first of all, we've bought in Boubacar Kamara, free transfer, currently valued for 27 to 35 million. We got him from Marseille, played 33 games last season in the French top tier. He's a squad player, let's be honest. He's not the finished article yet. Heading, mark and tackling, not the greatest. Strength, not the greatest neither. But everybody wanted him. Manchester City wanted him. Real Madrid wanted him. PSG wanted him as well. And he ended up joining us. So I'll take it. Like I say, it's not the finished article. Currently 2.5 star from the code summary. But valued at 35 million anyway. Then one of the big names coming in was Rodrigo Bentancur, who joined us from Juventus. A really good central midfielder. And can offer some depth should I want to drop to a DM as well. But I'm going to play like the 2 in the middle as it stands. Tackling, work rate, position and all height aggression. When we're picking up plenty of yellow cards could be an issue. He's currently valued 51 to 62 million and we spent 27 million pound on him. He was out on loan last season to Ajax, 17 games, 5 goals there, 7.28 rating, but will definitely strengthen up the centre of our midfield. Then we brought in a wonder kid, Mikkel Damsgaard. Now had an absolute cracking Euros with Denmark. 22-year-old, 18 caps, 9 goals. Can play across the middle 3. So we're probably going to play him out on the left or right hand side as an attacking midfielder. Currently valued at 115 to 129 million. And we spent 36 million pound on him from Sampdoria. Now he played 38 games last season in the Serie A. 3 goals, 2 assists, a 6.97 rating, doesn't set the world alight, but this guy can feature straight away and will naturally improve as the seasons go on as well. Another player in them was Anthony Martial. Now, his stats on here aren't great, his attributes wise, you know, where you'd want them. Dribbling, finishing, first touch, all good. Composure 15, physically he's incredible. Currently valued at 29 million, we spent 19.25 million on him after Chelsea took him last season for 28 million. He only played 3 games last season, 6.4 rating. And didn't get a goal. But for me, I think he can feature well for us. Yes, we've got Dembele who does the business, but he's another option. He can also play out on those wide areas should I want to, so I've got a bit of versatility there. My one concern with bringing in Martial is what do we do with Wilson? Now, Wilson is obviously OP on this game anyway, or he has been OP on FM21. But Dembele was so good last season. I think Martial will come in as the second best striker, and we may end up just losing or destroying Wilson because of it. And then last in them was another goalkeeping option in Alex Meret. So he's Italian, 25-year-old, capped 2 times. A decent goalkeeper, you know, he's probably not going to be number 1, but he's a good squad option and we only paid 2.4 million for him. Didn't play a game last season at Napoli, but they spent 19.5 million on him from Udinese. I'm happy with that purchase. Like I said, we're not paying a mega amount of money. Yes, I'm paying 47k a week for him to probably sit on the bench, but should anything happen to Onana, I've got a very good deputy there now. So looking at the ins and outs totals then, we managed to sell players for a total of 35.5 million, but we spent 85 million bringing players in. Looking at the squad dynamics then, team cohesion is good, club atmosphere is very good, and Maggio support is very good. I've got 2 players that want to leave, that's Jamal Lewis and Callum Wilson. Like I said, I knew I'd have problems with him. And top influencers wise, I've got 20 players and supporters and 6 players that have no real opinion of us. St. Maximum and Almiron, I'm quite surprised there to see that they have no real opinion. I've only got 1 team leader now, and that's my club captain Lascelles. I've only kept him with us because he's a team leader. He's a player that'll go next season, I'm sure. And looking at the tactic I'm going to play, I'm going to go for a 4-2-3-1, tick attacker wide on an attacking set, and we're going to try and blow teams away. We're going to go back to the Kevin Keegan style of play of just trying to score 1 more goal from every team. So when we're talking at the end of the season, I wouldn't expect us to be in the top 5 as far as goals conceded, but I'd like to be really high up on the goals scored. So looking at the team selection then, probably what we're going to start with is Onana in goal, Lodi, Anton Sula and Dest at the back with Willock and Bentancur in the middle, St. Maximum, Damsgaard and Rafinha with Dembele up top by himself. That is a quality team. And then looking at the squad depth, we're in a decent place again. Dembele is the best striker at the club. Wilson and Martial in there as well. With St. Maximum still the second best striker at the club apparently. Rafinha best on both sides. Damsgaard now the best player in the middle. And he's only going to get better if I'm honest. In the midfield, I still didn't really strengthen as much as I would want to, but Bentancur, Vecino, Lema and Willock, all decent players in the middle of the park. At the back, we're apparently weaker on that left-hand side, but I've got Jamal Lewis, Manquillo, Dest and Lodi, and out on the other side, my centre-back Sule is apparently the best right-back. Desto really needs to pull his finger out and start improving. In the centre of the defence, I'm happy with all the players that I've got. Lascelles even in there, making it into the top 4 of my centre-backs. And then at the back, I've got Onana, Meret and Bettinelli who I brought in. Didn't even get a mention. I only brought him in for a bit of cover. Probably never going to play a game for us. I did spend 650k for him after Chelsea got him on a free transfer. But yeah, Bettinelli's there as well. And then finally looking at the season preview, we're expected a 5th place finish, 16-1. But naturally we've got no players yet in the Media Dream 11. However, as I can see there, Mbappe has gone to Liverpool. How much did they buy him for? They got him on a free transfer, obviously. Free transfer. What was they doing? And Haaland, he has gone to Manchester City for £112 million. There you go. 25 goals last season for Borussia Dortmund. So these teams are strengthening, obviously much better than us, let's put it that way. However, getting those players in of the highest reputation is difficult. We've got to push for the Champions League this season. You know, European football, regardless of where it is, Europa League would be decent. I will take that again. Another top 6 finish would be good, but can we get into the top 4 this time round? And the answer to that is no, we cannot. We end up in 5th place, 61 points on the board, a full 18 points behind Arsenal. So we end up with our major prediction of finishing 5th. So we've got European football again. We are going to be in the Europa League. But yeah, 61 points on the board. 38 games played, 17 won, 10 drawn, 11 losses. 50 scored, 40 conceded. Goal difference of +7. 61 points, how did we do last season? 68. So we've actually had a worse season this time round. That is poor. And I've strengthened the team apparently. So yes, but we've got a 5th place finish. It's higher than we finished last season. But that 18 points gap between us and Arsenal, we've really got to work on that. Looking at our performance in the competitions, and like I said, our 5th place finish in the Premier League, we were knocked out in the quarter-final by Lazio in the Europa League, so we got to the quarter-finals, that's not bad going. In the FA Cup, we were knocked out in the 4th round by Brentford, wowzers. We were knocked out in the Carabao Cup in the 3rd round by Leeds, so we couldn't even get to the final and potentially hold on to that Carabao Cup crown. It just did not happen. 3rd place finish there. Looking at our performance just in the league, then you can see we're basically sat in 5th place from match day 15 all the way through. We actually did drop down into 6th with a 1-1 draw at Southampton, but we managed to pull ourselves back up into 5th place. So we just about got away with it. What about Liverpool? Are they just sat at the top? Yeah. Game day 3, 4-0 victory over West Ham United, and a sit top for the rest of it. So there you go. Squad dynamics wise, then I've got lots of players that are asking to leave. Team cohesion is very good. Club atmosphere is average. And managerial support is excellent. Have I got people that oppose us now? No. I've got 7 players that have no real opinion of us. When we have a look at the squad, are there players that aren't really getting any game time? So yeah, Bettinelli, Vilca, Merritt only got 1 game. Callum Wilson only played 1 game last season. Almiron only had 1 start. Longstaff with 1 start as well. Basically all the way up to Vecino, who had 7. That is it. He did have 15 substitute appearances, Vecino, but yeah, there you go. Not ideal. So we've got plenty of work to do there. So then just having a look at the player stats. Dembele scored 27 goals. Rafinha had the highest average rating at 7.26. Most assists was Rafinha with 14 as well. Best pass completion was Sula with 98%. Most player of the match awards was Rafinha with 10 player of the match awards. Yellow cards, Lodi with 9. And red cards, Lodi again. That's the second season on the bounce. He got 3 red cards there. Team stats wise, we scored 50 goals, which was the 9th best. We conceded 43, which was the 6th best. We had 47 yellow cards, which is the 6th best. 3 red cards, which is the 4th worst. And we're still around about the 7th best for average attendance. So there we go. Just having a quick look at the finances. I've got £110 million to spend. And we're 300k under that wage budget. So we've got to go for it this season, haven't we? I think reputation-wise now, we're going to be looking for European football every single season. And we're going into the halfway point of the rebuild. So realistically, I've got to be getting Champions League football this time round. Got to be pushing into the top 4. So yeah, we're going to move forward then to the start of season 3, where you'll join me and hopefully I've spent the entirety of that £110 million. And we are much better for it.
That was my next question.
Dilly dong, come on.
So season 3 then, and it was all about spending the money, and we spent the money, let's put it that way. So let's have a quick look at those finances. £0 in the transfer budget. I'm currently overspending on the wage budget by £9,000, £8,000. It's not the end of the world considering the finances we've got at the club. We've got an overall balance of £33 million, and this season I've already made a loss of £68 million. Wowzers. Not ideal there. However, I've got to start winning something now. You know, I've got to at least get into the top 4. We've got to start doing something in Europe. We've got to start increasing that revenue. So, let's have a look at the outs first. So, the first player to leave us then was Matthias Vecino. Now, he joined us from Inter Milan, if I recall, for £4 million. He's had 2 seasons with us, a total of 53 games, 4 assists in that time and 1 goal. Didn't have a great season last season with a 6.74 rating. We got him £10 million for him, and he's gone back to Italy with Roma. Javi Manquillo has gone off to Valladolid. We sold him for £4 million. We got him for £4.3 million from Atletico Madrid. But he went out on loan last season to Alaves. 15 games there, 7 for us. He was no good, really, and he was never going to feature as we improved. 29-year-old in his prime, and that's what we're getting for it, so we've let him go. Samuel Gigeno, he was a guy that we brought in straight away. 5.25 million. We sold him for 8.25. Only played 6 games for us last season. In fairness, he's not a bad defender at all. When we look at him, you know, he's solid. Technically, he isn't great. You know, heading, mark and tackling. That tackling at 12 29-year-old though, 24 caps, 3 goals for Algerian. He's gone off to Leicester. So the first player through the door then is Weston McKennie. 24-year-old American with 51 caps and 10 goals. We bought him for 29.5 million. He played 28 games for Juve last season, 3 goals, 3 assists, a solid 7 rating. They loaned him from Schalke for 3.8 million and spent 17.5, tying him down permanently. There's a lot of that goes on in the Serie A at the minute, especially with Juve bringing in players on loan, then buying them at a later date. But yeah, Weston McKennie is going to play in the centre of the pitch, either as a ball winner midfielder, box to box, or potentially as an advanced playmaker. Probably not with his stats. We're going to go for the ball winner. So yeah, Weston McKennie in the centre of midfield. Mateus Cunha has joined us from Atletico Madrid. Can play behind my strikers. I'm not going to go with that attack and forward anymore. So he's either going to play out on the left or right hand side. We bought him for a snip at 17.5 million after Atletico Madrid paid 27.5. Played 5 games for them last season. Didn't do too much. And we got him for 17.5 million. We then spent massive money on a striker, so we brought in a 27-year-old Uruguayan Maxi Gomez. 37 caps, 10 goals internationally. Finishing 15, composure 15. He's not the quickest. He's more going to be of a target man. He's going to be the deeper forward as we try and play somebody off him like a Martial. He's going to hold up the ball, get it spread about, hopefully get some goals, like I say. But he scored 13 goals last season for Valencia. They spent barely anything on him, 12.75 million. But he's had 13 last season, 18 the season before. And hopefully, because I've spent so much money, he delivers this season. And then the biggest transfer of all was Luis Felipe. So he has joined us from Spurs. Now, he was originally at Lazio, but Spurs bought him for 10.75 million, and we spent 48 million pounds on the guy. The good thing about this is we're taking somebody that's now played 2 seasons in the Premier League. So yeah, he got a 6.95 rating last season. It was an improvement on the season before, but defensively he's solid. Heading 16, marking 15, tackling 18, strength 14. Mentally he's great. His bravery, aggression, anticipation all high. Positioning, teamwork, work rate. 26-year-old as well, and is about to hit his prime. So Luis Felipe coming in the centre of my defence. And looking at those transfers then, I've changed the formation to a 4-2-4. Now that could leave us wide open in the midfield. But I need to go attacking again. We'll go for the Gegenpress this time as we try to pressure the ball and we press the opposition. So we're going with Onana in goal, Lodi, Felipe, Soulé and Dest at the back, with McKennie and Bentancur in the middle, sent Maximin and Rafinha out wide, and Dembele and Maxi Gomez up front. Now it's Callum Wilson's last season with us. Callum Wilson, I've absolutely ruined him in fairness. He wants to leave. We bought him for £20 million. He's basically played 9 games for us in 2 seasons, scored 3 goals. Last season he played 2 games, he got a 6.25. But yeah, Callum Wilson has been ruined. And I think if you're looking at this from the outside, that's probably the biggest upset, because this guy can be a world beater. He is a bit OP as well. In FM21, he would score goals for fun and teams would be scared of him. And I haven't really utilised him to the best of my ability. So yeah, Callum Wilson will be leaving at the end of the season. But that means he gets a season with us, playing 2 up top now. His opportunities are going to be increased, I'm sure. So looking at the squad dynamics and following on from those players coming in, team cohesion is good, club atmosphere is good, and managerial support is very good. We have still got players that want to leave. Jamal Lewis and Lascelles should be on the way out of the club before the end of the transfer window. Looking at the top influencers then, I've got 17 players to support us, 8 players that have no real opinion of us. But my team leaders are now Lascelles, Rafinha and Anton as well, who's now the club captain. Valdemar Anton, what a player. 9.5 million we spent on him. He's basically been ever present season after season. 6.81 rating last season. He scored 3 goals in his first season though. And then looking at the season preview, we expected a 5th place finish again. 16-1 to win the league. Got no players in that Major Dream 11 naturally. That team though. Fofana in the centre defence, a real quality player. 22-year-old as well, that is it, with Haaland and Mbappe leading the line. So this season then, we have got to break into the top 4. Liverpool, City, United and Chelsea apparently going to be the top 4. Arsenal in 6th, Tottenham in 7th. Well, so QPR have just been promoted as well. So QPR, Burnley and Bournemouth coming up from the Championship. So yes, this season, got to get into the top 4. If we don't, it's going to be bloody hard work if we're not building up our reputation playing Champions League football next season. End of season 3 then, and here we go. A 4th place finish. We got into the Champions League by the skin of our teeth. 1 point clear of Manchester United. 38 games played, 24 wins, 5 draws, 9 losses. The draws are the difference there. Last season we drew far too many games. Scored 71 goals, not bad at all, but did concede 45. Goal difference of plus 26, much better. And 77 points on the board. United playing Europa League football next season's massive as well. QPR, Southampton, Fulham all relegated. And Liverpool, there's quite a bazaar going on here. as Pep Guardiola is in charge of Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp is in charge of Manchester City. Yeah. Don't know why that's occurred. Who's in charge of Arsenal now? Mikel Arteta's still there as Arsenal sit themselves in second place, so not bad going. Let's just have a look at the past positions, see how that went along. So basically we were in 5th place until the last game of the season, where we beat Manchester United 4-2 to leapfrog them. So that means United will have just dropped down the did in the last game of the season. They've got to be gutted. They've been sat in the top 4 all the way to the final game. I'm assuming Liverpool were just sat top. Yeah, more or less. Arsenal in there, a decent climb for them towards the back end of the season as well. So looking at the competitions wise then, we've won the Europa League. We've won the Europa League, 3 on penalties against Lazio. Get in there. So Dest missed the penalty, but then Hazard missed the penalty, the last penalty of the game. We were down to 10 men after 34 minutes when that man, Ronan Lodi, absolutely loves the red card, was sent off. But Matthias Cunha with a goal on 93 minutes. Then Berisha on 101 makes it level. But yeah, we win. We've got the Europa League as well. And we've won the Carabao Cup as well. Having a look at it, 1-0 against Liverpool. Absolutely massive. But we're knocked out in the FA Cup in the 4th round by Arsenal. So we've won 2 bits of silverware this season. That's 3 in 3 seasons. Not bad going at all. Looking at the finances then, this coming summer we've got £131 million to spend, £63 million in the overall balance, and the wage budget £2.1 million. We're spending just under that as well. Let's have a look at the data hub quickly to see how we perform throughout the season. Goals per game, 1.87, well above what was expected for the average league team of 1.39. Our expected goals per game was 1.39, so like I say, we bossed that. Conceded per game was 1.18. We've bossed it there. Pass completion, 8.6. Tackles won ratio, quite low at 79%, but overall, decent. And let's have a look at that as far as the player and team stats go. So Callum Wilson, fucked that up, haven't I? 23 goals this season he got. He's going on a free transfer as well. I said just before the season began that we weren't going to renew his contract with us. We had ruined him, in fairness, by not playing in the systems that I had. And he's taught us a lesson there. 24 games this season, 16 goals. 23 goals in 30 in all competitions. So Callum Wilson, off he goes. Maxi Gomez, though, up there as well, scoring 10 league goals, but 23 in all competitions. So joint there, Callum Wilson, Maxi Gomez with 23 goals each. Highest average rating was Rafinha with a 7.26. Most assists was Rafinha and Damsgaard with 14 apiece. That's what you want from your wide men. Best pass completion, Luis Felipe with 98%. Most player of the match awards, Callum Wilson. Definitely sticking 2 fingers up to us on the way out. 7 player of the match awards for him. Most yellow cards, Longstaff and Bentaker with 11 apiece. And 1 red card for Lodi, which we've just seen was in the Europa League final. Team stats wise, we scored 71 goals, which is the 4th best, so I'll take that. It's those goals conceded though, 45 goals conceded, 7th best there. 8th worst for yellow cards with 65, no red cards obviously in the Premier League. And there you go, 7th best for average attendance again. So I think the big thing is then just to have a look at the team cohesion, club atmosphere and managerial support is all decent. Obviously our club atmosphere is average. I've got plenty of players that do not want to be here, and that's something that I need to work with. Anybody opposes? Yes, Matthias Cunha not happy at all. What is his problem? Wants to leave to get better playing time. Did he not get too many games this season? 13 starts, 23 substitute appearances. I think that's enough time for your first season with us. So we need to have a look at that. And then just having a look at the squad quickly and the squad depth. Anywhere that I need to improve, obviously probably need another striker with Wilson going. Martial's gone out on loan. I don't really know. Goalkeeper wise, we probably need a better option there. Out on that left hand side, Lodi isn't the best player out there now. Dest on both sides. I don't really know. We have got money to spend, like I say, £131 million, but we've got 2 seasons now. We're finally in the Champions League. We've got to try and win the league as well. That's the next push. Club vision wise, we're well within the target. We failed obviously to reach the semi-final of the FA Cup, but everything else we're passing. This season coming, we were meant to have been winning the Domestic Cup and to qualify for the Champions League. So we've done that. We're on schedule. We're doing fantastic. So here we go then. On to season 4. Another £100 million to spend, but do we need to spend it?
That was my next question.
Dilly dong, come on.
Right, so season 4 is upon us then, guys, and I have spent some money. First of all, finances-wise, 19 million in the overall balance. I'm currently spending well over that wage budget. Let's just sort that out now. Let's just take all the money out of there and sort that wage budget out. So that's sorted. So I've got no money officially left in the transfer budget. My wage budget is now just under £3 million. We've got 106 million in the overall balance and a profit and loss A loss, that is, of £42 million so far this season, or this month. But we've only lost £1 million, apparently. That's not right. So anyway, let's have a look at the ins and outs. So first to leave, Jamal Lascelles left on a free transfer. Obviously was the captain when I took over. Played 7 games for us last season. Was never going to be good enough. You know, he's not bad heading, marking, tackling wise and strength. They're obviously the key attributes that you want. But technically, awful. Callum Wilson went on a free transfer. We knew this was going to happen. He's gone off to Rangers. He's played 2 games. He's scored 2 goals. And I'm sure he'll do very well in that Scottish Premiership. One of the bigger transfers of the window was Valdemar Anton. He has gone to Watford. Now, they come in with a £38 million offer. He played 23 games for us last season. We bought him for £9.5 million. And he's all right. He's been decent for us. Mentally and physically he's good. Technically he wasn't quite there. So we let him go. Alex Merritt, my backup goalkeeper, we've had him a couple of seasons. 27-year-old Italian. We bought him for £2.4 million and we sold him for £15 million. Only played 1 game for us. Didn't even feature last season. Decent goalkeeper. Should be first choice somewhere. So when the offer came in, it was too good to refuse. And then Anthony Martial had a couple of seasons with us, but went out on loan to Everton last season, where he played 6 times and scored 3 goals. We bought him for £19.25 million and sold him for £25 million to Leicester. So we obviously needed a player to replace Valdemar Anton, and we brought in Lautaro Valenti. So he's not going to be a first choice starter. He's cost us £11.25 million. Parma paid £9 million for him. He's not a bad player at all. He's about as good as Anton, and we've just sold him for £30 million. So he's currently valued £41 million here, Valenti. 25-year-old Argentinian, not capped. Like I say, he's going to be a squad player. Julian Chabot has come in. He's an elite centre-back, currently valued £32 million. We bought him for £11.5 million from Frankfurt. After they paid £6.75 million for him last season, 31 games he played for us. And if I'm honest, a decent player. Again, you know, you don't want him taking corners or crossing the ball, but he can head, mark and tackle, and he's got decent strength. And for me, like I say, that's the key attributes I want from my centre-backs. I do want a no-nonsense style of play, and Julian Chabot fits into that. Another squad player in then is Gilberto, 31-year-old Brazilian. Now, yes, he's just past his prime. We paid £7 million for him. Definitely overspent when he cost £3.6 million. But he has been playing regularly in Ligue 1. And like I say, fringe player, £7 million. Decent mentals, decent technical, decent all-round player. Is an experienced fullback. And he'll fit in as cover on that right-hand side. We brought in Ron Torben Hoffmann to replace Merritt as my substitute goalkeeper. 25-year-old German. Joins us from Bayern Munich for £1.9 million. Not a lot to say about this. He's just come in to fill a gap, to sit on the bench, and hopefully he'll never play a game for us. One of the bigger money moves was James Ward-Prowse joining us. 29-year-old, now valued at £61 million. He's quality, dead ball specialist. Ward-Prowse has literally just been relegated with Southampton, where he spent all of his career. Played 34 games from last season. Was one of their better players, and we bought him for £44 million. He's an English player. He's always going to be overpriced anyway, but yeah, Ward-Prowse will sit in the midfield. And then it was all about strengthening up front, so the first player that I brought in is Giacomo Raspadori. Never even heard of the guy, I'm going to be honest. Brought him from Sassuolo, where he scored 20 goals last season in the Serie A. £31 million we paid for him. I think that's a good deal. Finishing 16, composure 15, acceleration and pace both decent. Got very good agility and balance. Off the ball and flair there as well. He's been capped 7 times by Italy, scored 2 goals, and he's only 24-year-old. I didn't go out and get that big name signing this year. We just went for Raspadori. Hopefully he does the business for us. I needed a replacement for Wilson, and he may be the man. But if he's not, Moise Keane could also do the business. Now, he's been about. He seems quite well travelled for a 24-year-old. Seems like he's been about forever. 27, caps 4 goals for Italy. Has been, like I say, across the board. Started at Juve, went to Verona, then at Everton, then at PSG. Everton spent £24 million on him. He then went to Juve for £24 million. Played 34 times last season. Scored 17 goals. And we've just spent £43 million on him. Now, again, we may have overspent there, but acceleration, pace is there. Physically, he's dynamite. Mentally, he's good. Finishing is what you need. That's obviously the main thing. First touch 14, dribbling 15. I reckon he'll get us some goals this season. And I think we're not far away now from being a complete team. So just to recap it all, we brought in 78 million in returns for our player sales, and then we spent 150 million. So overall, it wasn't too bad. We're starting to generate a bit of money now from the players we bought earlier on in the save. But yeah, we spent big again this summer. And tactically, we're probably going to set up the same way with Onana in goal, Luis Valenti, Luis Felipe Insula. That's not happening. Out on that side will probably be Dest now. With McKennie and Ward-Prowse in the middle, St. Maximin and Rafinha out wide, and Keane and Raspadori up front. We've got plenty of options up front. We spent a lot of money on our strikers. We've also got Maxi Gomez. We've got Damsgaard. We've got Kuna. we've got Gilberto, we've got Dembele. We've got a real quality team now with some real good depth. But we're going to play this way again. Mentality-wise, we're going to go positive on the gegenpress. And hopefully, this is going to be enough to push us on in the league. And in the Champions League now, we've got to remember. And then finally, looking at the season preview, we're expected a 6th place finish this time. Now, I'm sure it was 5th last season. We've still got no players in the Media Dream 11. I thought we'd have had at least one player involved in that now, but we haven't. We're 25 to 1 to win the league. Liverpool evens to win it. Sheffield United, Brighton and West Brom all coming up. Should all be an easy 3 points for us throughout the season, but we all know that isn't always the case. So yeah, we've got to get into the top 4 again. We've got to be pushing for a league title now, haven't we? Now, it is a big ask. We only just got into the top 4 last season, but we've really got to be getting on. 2 more seasons to go. I'm running out of time. Right, so season 4's done then, guys, and we've won the league. It was about time, let's be honest. With the amount of money that we've spent, we've managed to dethrone Manchester City and Liverpool, who finished 2nd and 3rd. The form towards the back end of the season from Manchester City, 2 draws in their final 5 games is what's gifted us it by the look of it. We played 38 games, 29 wins, 5 draws, 4 losses, scored 99 goals, conceded 34. You know, it's under a goal per game, I'll take that. Goal difference of 65, best goal difference by the look of it as well. 92 points on the board. Sheffield United, Bournemouth and Brighton all relegated. Let's have a look at those past positions where we sat in top. Now, we've basically scraped it towards the back end of the season. So those draws from Manchester City is what's won us the title. We went into top spot with a 1-0 victory over Everton and we never looked back. We had been there throughout the season. Match day 20, we won Wolverhampton Wanderers 7-0. Then we beat Chelsea 1-0 as well to stay top of the league. Things started to go a bit wrong. It looks like we lost to Manchester United 2-1 there. But we managed to get ourselves back into top spot. So City then, I'd imagine, yes, they blew it. Every time we went top towards the back end of the season was when they dropped down into 2nd. And Liverpool, yeah, 3rd place, never really challenged after match day 25. So looking at the competitions wise then, we're in plenty of competitions this season. We won the league, absolutely incredible. We were knocked out in the quarter-final of the Champions League by AC Milan. Lost the Super Cup, by the look of it, runner-up to Liverpool. We lost 3-1 there, not great. FA Cup, we were knocked out in the 5th round by Arsenal, and we lost in the Carabao Cup, runner-up there. We lost 3-1 to Manchester City, as we were well and truly battered by the look of it. 14 shots, 9 on target. We had 10 and 3, St. Maximin with a 5.9. We actually got on level terms. Haaland with 2 goals there on 14 and 21. Gomez with a goal on 19. But yeah, not bad going at all. How's that affected us financially then? So we've got £120 million in the bank. We've currently got £140 million in the overall balance. But obviously winning the league, we'll have got some decent revenue off that. And obviously Champions League revenue as well. And that has built up our reputation even more for what is going to be our final season. And really trying to push on now to win the Champions League. And obviously retain that Premier League crown as well. Just having a quick look at squad dynamics then, because we've been plagued by this all the way through. A lot of unhappy players, but team cohesion is very good, club atmosphere is good, and managerial support is very good. Players that want to leave, Matty Longstaff wants to leave, wants to start more games. Bentancur wants to go, or he wants a better deal to reflect his ability. And Matthias Kuna wants to go as well. Now we have got one player that is leaving us, and that is Renan Lodi. He did not want to renew his contract and he's going off to PSG. This was a player obviously that we brought in for $24.5 million. He's played plenty of games for us, don't get me wrong. Yeah, he did not want to stay, so he's off to PSG. But when we're looking at the team leaders, Onana, Rafinha and St. Maximum all support us. We've got 14 players to support me overall, 9 players that have no real opinion of us, but nobody opposes us. I'd be surprised if anybody opposed us after just winning the league title. Just a quick look at the data hub then and see what's going on. So we averaged 2.61 goals per game, expected 2.07. The average team expected goals per game was 1.34, so we absolutely battered that. Goals conceded a game under 1 per game at 0.8 now. We're expected to concede over a goal per game at 1.23. So I'm happy, very happy with the team's performance. Naturally, I'm buzzing. I was starting to feel the pressure with 2 seasons to go. And yeah, all we had really was the Carabao Cup. Yes, the Europa League was a big win, that one, and a decent trophy to take. But it was all about winning the league. And the Champions League, you know, is that going to be a step too far for us? With 1 season to go, who knows? But we've got the Premier League crown, and that's all that matters at the minute. So looking at stats overall then, top goal scorer was Dembele with 25 goals. Highest average rating was Maxi Gomez with a 7.38. Most assists, Ward-Prowse. Who else? You know, we brought him in to get the assists, to play on the set pieces. He got 23 assists this season. Best pass completion was Boubacar Kamara with 95%. Most player of the match awards was Sula and Ward-Prowse with 6 apiece. Most yellow cards was McKennie with 16, and most red cards shared between 2, 1 apiece for McKennie and Moise Keane. Team stats wise, goal scored, we scored 99, which was the best in the league. We conceded 34, which was the second best, but I'm happy with that, under a goal per game. Yellow cards, 63, which was the 8th worst, and we got no yellow cards in the league. Very good, but we scored plenty of goals, so realistically for me, who scored the goals? So Dembele with 25, Maxi Gomez with 23, Moise Kean 19, Rafinha 15, Raspadori 14 as well. So plenty of goals coming from, like, basically that's top 4. Damsgaard in there with 11, St. Maximin with 8. McKennie from deeper in the midfield with 7 as well. Assists-wise, James Ward-Prowse with 23. Comfortably the best player for assists. And tactically, it's worked a treat, I think, the 4-2-4. It's overpowered teams again. We scored plenty of goals. Yes, we conceded a few, but not as many as usual. So for me then, we've obviously got, what did I say, £120 odd million to spend. I'm naturally going to need to replace Lodi, but after that, I'm not quite sure. I think we've got a good enough team now to go for the league again. It's just about that last season to push on and win the Champions League. But I think now that may be a step too far.
That was my next question.
Dilly dong, come on.
Season 5 then, guys, the final season, the penultimate season, and I haven't strengthened like you would have imagined. You know, we are going to be chasing that Champions League crown. However, I genuinely think, like I've just said before the break, that it is going to be a step too far. And I haven't been able to bring in the players that are potentially going to push us to that next level. So like your Mbappes, your Haalands, your Lautaro Martinez, your Harry Kanes just aren't available. Or if they are, they've got no interest in signing for us. So when we look at the finances, let's get this out the way first. I've got £143 million in a transfer budget. I've not spent too much. Well, I have. That's a lie. But I've recouped the majority of the money as well. So we've had some big sales. We haven't really had any massive transfers. I suppose you could count one of them, which we'll go through shortly. But yeah, I think we're going to leave the club in a very good financial position, considering the amount of money that I've spent. And let's be honest, you know, we spent the best part of £600-700 million on players, and I certainly haven't brought that back into the club. So this last season, we've won the league with the team that I had. I want to try and keep those together. We have had a lot of turnover season after season. So yeah, hopefully we can do even better with the team we've already got. So Jamal Lewis has gone off to Genoa. He has left on a free transfer. Was out on loan last season at Norwich, where it all started for him. Played 33 times for them in the Championship. But yeah, we'll let him go. He didn't really feature too much. 11 games in the 2023-24 season. But apart from that, not too much going on. The biggest sale of the transfer window was Andre Onana going to Juve. So he left for a staggering £60 million up front, with 21 million add-ons, taking it up to 81 million pounds. Now, he's been a decent performer for us. Obviously, I had that calamity when I brought him in. He couldn't play for a couple of months because he was banned. But yeah, he's been good. 36 games last season, 31 conceded, 14 clean sheets, a 7.12 rating. But that offer, when he come in, is not a world-class goalkeeper. And although I haven't been able to replace him with a world-class goalkeeper, that money was just too good to refuse. And the last player to leave then was the 28-year-old Uruguayan Rodrigo Bentancur, and he has gone off to Inter for £73 million. Mental money, considering we bought him for £27 million. Now, last season, 25 games, 3 goals, 5 assists. We've got a lot of options in the midfield anyway. And £73 million, you can't really turn that down. Yes, he's in his prime. He's a very good all-rounded player, and he really is a good player. But there were equally good options out there for me to replace him for a younger model. So I brought a couple of players in first of all to replace Lodi. Now Borna Souza has joined us from Bayern Munich. £22 million they paid for him, played 10 times. We've brought him in for £15.5 million. Squad option. You know, he's decent all round. He's 27-year-old. Is he going to set the world alight? No. But he's adding depth into that position. And another player that's going to add a bit more depth and strength to that left-back option is Matías Oliveira, 27-year-old Uruguayan. 10 caps, 12.5 million after Bayer Leverkusen spent £10 million on him. Only played 8 games last season, a 6.8 rating, and he was transfer listed. But again, it's another squad option. We've got Dest, who's probably going to play out on that side anyway. With Onana going, we've brought in the Englishman, Aaron Ramsdale. 9 caps by England. We spent £13.5 million on him. I'm very happy with that. He's played 24 times for Arsenal last season, conceded 25, a 6.96 rating, but 13.5 million for a player that is goalkeeping attributes-wise very good. He's a really good goalkeeper. Mentally he's okay, physically he's fine, but yeah, 27-year-old, you know, he's going to hit his prime. Hopefully he'll have a decent season for us, but yeah, it was a bargain. Too good to refuse that one. And then the biggest transfer then was to replace Bentancur. So we've brought in Declan Rice, 26-year-old he is now. Look at those mentals and physicals. Incredible. Technically, he's not quite as gifted as Bentancur was, but we bought him for £50 million. Played 38 times for West Ham last season, 6.68 rating. But I think him and Ward-Prowse are two different kinds of players, and they'll be quality in the centre of midfield. So looking at the history then, we actually brought more money in this time round as we've managed to recoup £133 million from player sales, and we spent £92 million bringing players in. Squad dynamics wise, team cohesion is still very good, club atmosphere is average, and managerial support is very good. I've got players obviously aren't happy. All these contracts are in the process of being sorted out anyway. And when we look at the players and supporters, I've got 13 players as supporters, 11 players have no real opinion of us, so it's almost a 50-50 split. Tactically, we're going to set up the same way with a 4-2-4 with Ramsdale in goal, Oliveira, Sula, Luis Felipe and Des at the back with Rice and Ward-Prowse in the middle, St. Maximin and Rafinha out wide with Dembele and Maxi Gomez up front. What a team we have got now. When we look at the squad and we look at the media description, we've got plenty of elite players. We've got a world-class player in Ward-Prowse as well, so we've got our first world-class player in the mix. Got a very, very good team. Looking at ability, there's plenty of good players there. Potential-wise as well, we are stacked with 3.5 4-star players. I don't think we can do any more. And yes, when we look at the finances, 143 million. I could bring players in just for the sake of it. And I've done a little bit of that this time round as well. And I just think, why not go with the team that won us the league last season? Finally then, looking at the season preview, I expected a 6th place finish again. We're the current league holders and I still don't expect us to finish in the top 4. Crazy. We've got no players in the Media Dream 11, so for the entirety of this save, we haven't been able to break in. Livramento, though, he's gone to Spurs. Was he at Chelsea? He was. 44.5 million. Jesus. It's a bit of money. He's not that good. But as you can see, like these English players, overpriced. Same with Declan Rice, £50 million. So that's it then, guys. Last season incoming. We start with that game against Arsenal in the Community Shield. But winning the Premier League is obviously the main aim. Getting to the Champions League final and doing bits there, it'd be absolutely massive. So once again, fingers crossed, touch wood and all that we do some bits and we bring some more silverware on for our final year in charge. Season 5's over then and the rebuild is complete, or it is over anyway, with the 5-year term coming to an end. Now we finished second in the league, as you can see there, 6 points behind Manchester City. But did we win the Champions League? Oh, we lost in the final. We lost in the final, we were runners-up. 4-3 against Bayern Munich. Let's have a look at the state of this. If we got done by an injury time goal, I'll be raging out. 82nd minute goal there. We had 5 shots on target. Scored 3 goals. Fair play. So we lost in the final. We got all the way to the final. I still think that is a success for me. And I'm sure plenty of you will disagree with that, with my thoughts, thinking, you know, we got to the final. We were almost there. Give it another couple of seasons and we would be champions of Europe. But 4-3 in the final. What a game. We went out the Newcastle way though. We've scored plenty of goals. Just unfortunately we conceded loads as well. So let's just quickly then have a look at this league table. So we finished in second place. 38 games played, 25 wins, 8 draws, 5 losses. 104 goals scored. That's the highest again comfortably. Conceded 41 now. Far too many. We're just far too attacking. Goal difference of plus 63 and 83 points on the board. Manchester City drew 2 out the last 5 again and we still couldn't catch them, as it looks like we've drawn the last game there. Let's have a look at those past positions then. So we were sat in second place from match day 33 and we done quite a decent rise. At one point we were down in 10th place in match day 7. We lost 3-1 to West Ham United. Oh dear, and I'm assuming Manchester City was sat top for the majority of the season, yeah. Up and down, but basically there from match day 21. Oh, so close on both fronts as well, you know. Manchester City, yes, they did finish clear of us, but to get to the final against Bayern Munich and to lose out. Just having a look at those competitions again then. We lost in the FA Cup in the quarter-final to Chelsea. We were knocked out in the 3rd round by Southampton in the Carabao Cup, but we did win the Community Shield. Ease me paying no attention. 4-0 victory over Arsenal. We absolutely smashed them at Wembley. Let's have a look at this one then. So 18 shots, 10 on target, 50% possession. Keane with 2, Rafinha and Raspadori with a goal as well. So we did get a bit of silverware after all. Runners up, like I say, in the Champions League. Massively disappointing. What about finances then? So financially, we've got 175 million in the bank. Overall balance is 120 million. And we're 200k under the wage budget. Profit and loss this season, 29 million. We were up. We made 52 million profit this month. So looking at the dynamics then, how have I left the squad? Club atmosphere is average, but team cohesion is very good and so is managerial support. Plenty of players that want to leave. You know, that's the next manager's problem now. As when we look at the hierarchy, 15 player supporters, 1 player opposes us. That Matthias Cunner, he wants out of here. Let him go. If he doesn't want to be here, get him out the club. And 8 players that have had no real opinion of us. So lastly then, looking at our performance, player stats wise, Moise Keane got 27 goals this season, was the highest goal scorer. Highest average rating, Ward-Prowse 7.33. He's been a great signing. We'd also getting the most assists, 22 this time round. Best pass completion was Boubacar Kamara with 95%. With James Ward-Prowse getting the most player of the match awards with 7, and Declan Rice got 21 yellow cards this season, but no red cards overall, very good. Team stats wise then, 104 goals, which was the best. We conceded 41, which was the 4th best. Yellow cards, 61, which is the 9th worst. No red cards, like I say. And average attendance didn't really move for the entirety. We've had no stadium expansions or even improvements to the seating areas, so that's stayed around about the same. I think the big thing for me then is when we look at the milestones. So just to go through briefly, I took the job in 2021. We then won the Carabao Cup in 2022. We won the Carabao Cup and the Europa League in 2024. We won the Community Shield in 25 as well as the Premier League. So overall, for me, it's decent. We didn't get that Champions League trophy and we didn't go back-to-back in the league. But overall, I think that's decent. Might not look so good now when we have a look at what I spent. So I spent 656 million. And in fairness, I pulled a lot of that back. 331 million coming back through the door. I only bought 32 players, but I let 60 players leave. Wowzers. Didn't play a single match, as the same with every game. Spent 94% of my time on holiday. So there we go then, guys. I'm sure you're going to absolutely rinse me in the comments to say that was a failure. I didn't win the Champions League, and when you spend 656 million, you should be winning the Champions League. But I will leave you with this for Pep Guardiola. How much has he spent at Manchester City, and he's still to win the Champions League? And within 5 seasons to get to the final, I'm happy with that. I think, you know, the first 3 seasons were all about building up reputation and consolidating. So for me, I'm putting this one down as a success. This rebuild was decent after all. So yes, thank you very much for watching. If you have liked, please like and subscribe. It would mean a lot as we continue to grow this channel. But yeah, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Ta-ra.